It's the Great Gratu Orloff Show. It's episode 381, May 28th, 2021, in the year of our Lord. And we're off on an adventure into the unknown. I'm your host, Gratu Orloff, and come along with me, shall you? It's like Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. We're leaving the vast underground parking lot of the Gratu Orloff International Building of Trade and heading to parts unknown. Actually, we're going to Duncanville Bookstore, which is surprisingly enough in a town called Duncanville. And it's got to be one of the, if not the greatest comic store I've ever been in. They have a great selection of comics. They have a collector's section. They're bringing in slabs now, and I don't like that. They're devoting floor space to slabbed comics. But they have a collector's section, right? And those are the price that they've marked. Then they have other collector's comics that are half the price that are marked, and they're in a separate section. Then there's a $5 section, and that has a lot of great comics in it, but they don't, price them individually. Just everything's $5 that has that color sticker on the cover of the comic. And then they have a $2 section, and you can even get Golden Age comics in that $2 section. I need to get a fucking soft drink. We're gonna go into this Lucky One Food Mart. This is absolutely no one wears a mask in this place now. It's the first place I've seen where it's completely maskless. It's kind of weird, but oh well. Come along with me, shall you? Let's see. I'll bring the mask just in case today, for some reason, it's filled with people that are terrified, because I do look like someone that's diseased. So I'd be scared if I walked in, if I was somebody else. Let's see. Gotta get my... Okay, this is the debit card I need to use. Yeah. I feel like I'm doing something wrong walking in without a mask. You feel like you're it feels like you're a criminal or something, but I don't know, it's kind of liberating too. Thanks. Oh, thank you. Of course, today everyone was wearing a mask. The lady coming in was wearing one, but that clerk is the only clerk that wears one there. I feel like I did something really wrong. Well, The next adventure. Oh, my battery's still low. Let's get you charging again. You saw me go into that convenience store. Oh, that might be the crazy man there. I don't know. I wonder if he's the guy that screams every day walking down the street. This guy likes to come to the store to get alcohol and then walk down the street and scream obscenities. Ay, ay, ay. Well, let's motivate. I learned that word from a Chuck Berry song. No, it's not anything dirty. It just means drive. Okay. I don't see that guy. It's a different guy. Not everybody that wears a scarf on their head is an insane, ranting, raving lunatic. That was a different lunatic. Oh well. I thought I'd be able to drive past him and you could hear him shout about how good he fucks and how he's gonna beat up everyone in the neighborhood. It's entertaining. Well, if you don't like live in the neighborhood, it's entertaining. It's just like watching Taxi Driver, and he's driving along and walking and driving past these fucking crazy people on the New York streets. Oh shit, you're gonna run the light, huh? Yeah, that's nice. On a light sign. People like to run the stop signs there because they think it's a four-way stop, and it isn't. So he was gonna like crash into me. That would have been good footage on YouTube. Oh yeah, swine, filth. Here's this mid-century house. It's a lot like the Brady Bunch house inside. They've landscaped the yard so that they never have to mow it. Of course, the people across the street just never mow it, period. It's just, they let it. There's a house, it's ingenious, over near the hospital. And they just, they have a sign like their yard is a museum exhibit. And it says, this is representative of the natural wild flora of this area, North Texas. This is the way, basically, that it's supposed to look before, man came, or when the Native Americans were the only people living here. This is how the land looked, and so they just let their grass, their yard go completely native. And that, in other words, they just completely ignore their yard and put up a sign and say, isn't this cool? This is, and so I guess they get away with it because they're, it's got a little nature preserve. Their yard is a nature preserve. Very interesting idea. Well, I remember I took you this route about a year ago when the stores first opened back up. For a while, comic book stores, they were considered non-essential, and they were all closed down. And then I remember driving right along here. I was so excited the first time Duncanville Books had opened back up, and I remember driving along here, and I had the theme to Enter the Dragon playing. You can go back in my show archive. There's a folder down below called My Blogs from the Beginning, and you can go in there. You can watch all my episodes from episode 1. It would have been about last May, I think, whenever they opened everything back up. And it was a sunny day, and when I got to Duncanville Books, that intervening month or two that they were forced to close down, they had filled their inventory with everything that I love, monster magazines and everything, and they were all like incredibly cheap, for like $5, and that was wonderful. And I didn't take the camera all the way to the store, though. I didn't even know how this camera hardly even worked on this phone back then. So that was a year ago. It was sunny that day. Today it's kind of cloudy. It's going to be rainy all next week, from what I understand. Everything's weird here in Duncanville when it's just very weird. Can't explain it. Oh boy. So Friday afternoon. It's 11:48. It's almost afternoon. That's what's on the radio.
And so I support prosecuting anyone who committed a crime of violence. Now, there were thousands of people in Washington that were peacefully protesting, that didn't break into the Capitol, that didn't hurt anybody, and I don't think they should be prosecuted for standing in the National Mall and singing God Bless America. There's a difference between peaceful protest and committing acts of violence. As you noted as well, January 6th is not the only day on which acts of violence occurred in America.
Ted Cruz is wonderful. He looks like he's related to Grandpa Munster, Al Lewis. He's really cool. I think he grew his beard to hide the fact that he looks so much like Grandpa. He's a good guy, and I remember when he was when the Republicans were vying to be the Republican nominee for president in 2016. Trump kind of more than hinted that Ted Cruz's father, who was Cuban, might have been part of the group that conspired to assassinate President Kennedy. And then after that, Ted Cruz still forgave him and was friendly with him. And same with Rand Paul. I remember him talking about how weird he looks and just how ugly he was on that stage. It was really, I thought it was hilarious. And then he doesn't hold a grudge either. He's so, I don't know. So this is Glenn Beck. We're listening to. This is our local Target. Don't ever get a Target credit card, man. Don't do that.
The amount of spending they are rolling out is staggering. It is a budget in excess of what we spent in World War II. We're already seeing inflation taking off across the country, and I think we are on the verge, potentially, of a serious inflation crisis.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you guys yesterday. Inflation is coming. I actually just filled up the car. It cost over $40 to fill up this car. I don't have a giant pickup truck. $40. It's like twice what I used to pay just a few months ago.
They're usually not as bad as Democrats. Years ago, a friend of mine suggested a bumper sticker. Republicans, we waste less. That is a way. Yeah, that's the quickest way to lose.
Guys, have you heard of a book called We? W-E? By, I forget the name. It's a Russian writer. And apparently George Orwell wrote a review of this book. Then later he wrote the book 1984. And they say that 1984 and Aldous Huxley's Brave New World are both kind of inspired by this book called We. And I just found out about this recently. I don't know how to find the book, but I just went to YouTube and found that there's an audio book version of it on YouTube. Oh, I read about this guy. There's this happy dancing guy that's at this intersection. He's apparently just this nice guy. He's not like that guy that screams obscenities in my neighborhood. He just likes to dance and be happy. Where the fuck? Oh, there he is. He just dances and is he just jams up to his music like he's but he's almost always at this intersection. I don't know if he's trying to get a record contract or what, but Jesus Christ. What a year-long lockdown does to people, huh? People go nuts. Maybe I should go to that antique mall and get that metal Thor sign that I saw a few episodes back. That's over there. Seems like there was a couple of coloring books I wanted to get too, but I don't know. Do I really need the coloring books? I don't know. Well, commercials.
Like this is a mess.
Top Cat was just a mild hit. I mean, it wasn't really a hit. It was not a big success in the United States. I think it only did it just last one season, I think. It's a wonderful cartoon. It's great. Top Cat. Yeah, but it's not, people don't, it's not like the Flintstones or the Jetsons, some huge hit that everybody talks about. But I loved it, and apparently in Mexico, Top Cat is like loved, and he's called Don Gato, and so much that they made their own Top Cat animated movie. There's a Mexican Top Cat movie was made there and then dubbed into English, so it's like they continued Top Cat's legacy. Kind of like Mexico made their own Spider-Man comics, which apparently are very valuable now. People are starting to collect these Mexican comics where they reprinted the Marvel comics up into the point where Marvel killed off Gwen Stacy, and the Mexican publisher said, "What are you doing?" The romance angle was what helped sell this comic. So they got permission from Marvel and started writing and drawing their own Spider-Man comics, so the continuity veers off in a different direction, like a different timeline where Gwen Stacy lives in that Marvel Mexican universe. And I don't know how many issues they put out where Gwen Stacy actually lived in the 70s, and it really concentrates on the romance between Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker. Like it's big sections of the story devoted to that, and showing Gwen Stacy bending over and stuff. They like to draw her butt from behind. I mean, not unclothed, but the artist, you could tell, was very focused on that anatomy and the way the panels were constructed and the way that Gwen Stacy always had her back to the reader. Anyway, I saw someone did a 4-part deal on that on YouTube. I think someone named Shamhala or Shambhala. I think it was Shamhala Comics. I'm not sure, but you could find. He did it pretty recently. You could probably find it. So we're on I-20, heading towards Duncanville. And it's very crowded. thing I noticed last May when the stores opened back up and I was able to go back to Duncanville Books, I noticed that people were driving differently than they had before the shutdown. And people now drive even crazier. Especially people that have kind of hot rods or what they used to call muscle cars. I mean, people are always revving their engine and just drag racing, and it's like, I think that having to cover your face drives people with lots of testosterone or whatever. They want the other sex to notice them, but they're having to hide themselves, so they overcompensate and go fucking nuts and on the road. So it's kind of dangerous. Well, my friend Gerald called. He's not coming over tonight. He usually comes over on Friday nights, so that means I'm not in a hurry to blow up that mattress and all that. So that's it's kind of a relief in a way that I don't have to. I also need to go by the supermarket and get some staples for the house. Sometimes they call it Grand Prairie, but its real name is Great Garloo. It comes from an Indian, the Indians used to worship Great Garloo, and when the first settlers came here, they took the name Great Garloo. Sometimes they call it Grand Prairie. Grand Prairie and Great Garloo are the same town, just in case you're wondering. Grand Prairie is the Americanized name. Great Garloo is the Native American name. So people that really respect the Native Americans and their culture call this city Great Garloo. You know, I just have no respect for people that call this Grand Prairie when they know in their hearts that this is Great Garloo. Great Garloo, Texas. There's Robinson Road. That's named after Andy Robinson, who was the Scorpio killer in Dirty Harry. Coming up to Beltline Road, which is the road that comic store that I sort Grubby Comics at is at. It's on Beltline. What else do we have here? Man, there's a fucking King Kong at Walmart. I should go in Walmart and see if that King Kong his face is painted like the Famous Monsters cover. I wonder if that's at Walmart. That thing is amazing. Priorities.
At this time, we are supposed to show you scenes from the picture Blood Feast, which will be shown as a late show next Saturday night. However, due to the extreme horror of the context of this picture, and due to the fact that this audience has not been forewarned, we will not show this preview. Instead, let us warn you that no children will be admitted during the showing of Blood Feast. In fact, there will be a policeman on duty at
I'm in the slow lane
to make sure they do not enter the theater. And if you're
Life in the slow lane
have a heart condition,
surely makes you lose your mind. What was that, the Eagles? I hate the Eagles.
a nurse will be on duty during
Am I the only person out there that really hates the Eagles? Seems like Joe Walsh had a good solo song or two, but the Eagles just really annoy me. The other band, I know a lot of you like Journey, but I just don't like Journey at all. I can't stand that lead singer's voice. Another band that you're supposed to like, but I don't like, is Guns N' Roses. And the Black Crowes, I don't like them. They're just like, I don't know. One of those things. Up here, the road diverges. The eastbound and westbound lanes are go around the side of a hill. This hill up here, I don't know why they didn't just, why they did it this way. I've always thought that I've heard rumors there's some significance to this hill up here. I used to think it was like a missile silo, that there were hidden like nuclear missiles underneath this hill, because there's like a little road that takes, like you can tell that where vehicles have drive to the top, and there's like drains coming out, like maybe there's something inside of this hill, like maybe this is where Blofeld lives or something. I don't know. This has always been mysterious. Mysterious indeed. These people drive crazy. Well, at Duncanville Books, I'm going to be looking for Gold Key Comics. Graphic Man sent me some cash to pick up some half-price books, reprint editions of 50s horror comics, and he said look also for some Kid Cold Outlaw, and I found 2 of them for him, and also some Gold Keys. So I'm going to be looking for some cool Gold Key comics while I'm here at Duncanville Books. Duncanville Road, 1 mile. Man, these people it's like it's the Indianapolis 500. I guess it's the lunch hour and people are rushing to their favorite stupid restaurant. At least it's not raining. It's supposed to be raining today. That would have been bad. But they postponed the rain till about 5 o'clock tonight. Duncanville Road, 1/4 mile. Duncanville Road, north North Main Street, and Main Street is apparently where this Half Price Books is. I've never been to this location, so I'm hoping we'll find some goodies in there. There's no telling. This is the Half Price Books I've never been to. All right, so Duncanville is not really the greatest. I don't want to knock the town, but it's a little seedy. It's right next to Oak Cliff, and you know Oak Cliff from if you've ever studied the John F. Kennedy assassination. You know that Lee Harvey Oswald lived in Oak Cliff, and then he fled from the scene at the School Book Depository, and he was hiding out in a movie theater in Oak Cliff, which is still in operation as a movie theater. It's a repertory movie theater. It was a really nice movie theater, but after Kennedy was shot, they went in and fucked up the theater because they didn't want it. The city was embarrassed by the theater, so they went in and the inside that was very nice, they just covered it in stucco and made it look like a really horrible, like a really cheap Mexican restaurant, and it's a shame. But anyway, it's the theater where Oswald was apprehended and slugged a policeman and everything, and got punched, I think. Anyway, Oak Cliff then was not a nice area, and it still isn't. Well, it's starting to get better. People are starting to gentrify it. But Duncanville is right next to it, and it's little seedy. There's Judy's Cafe across the street. I think that played a role. Wasn't there a Judy's Cafe in Twin Peaks, the TV show, or at least in the revived remember when they revived Twin Peaks a couple of summers ago? That was pretty fucked up. My wife and I watched that. Okay, so this place is really hidden. It's hidden back behind these stores. It's like you would never see it unless you're going along Main Street. You see it. It's like right next to the train tracks. So once this car passes, I'm going to go in and see. It's hidden. It's like a secret little bookstore. It's really cool. So you go into this driveway past this place, and let's drive around this speed bump, and then over there where the red sign is Duncanville Bookstore, comics, toys, and games. I love that it doesn't say cards. Isn't that wonderful that it doesn't say cards? It used to be more. There's the train tracks. It used to be more of a bookstore. I think this store has been here since the 60s. I first discovered it in the 80s, and it was mostly or half paperback books, and then it had a comic section. And my friend Jim Conrad showed me this place, and I came here and bought 1960s Thor comics, and it was a cool place. Then I kind of forgot about it for a few decades, and then I came back, and they'd taken out most of the paperback books. It was under a new owner that had bought it, and it expanded the comic books. They do have toys in there and statues, but it's mainly a comic collector's place. I don't think there's any Dungeons and Dragons shit or role-playing game stuff. Not that I remember. That's what I like about it. It's comic books. There's no fucking Magic the Gathering shit. There's no Yu-Gi-Oh! There's, as far as I know, in there, Pokemon. You don't realize, well, I bet you do realize how wonderful that is. Because, Yu-Gi-Oh! People are kind of assholes. Not all of them, but many of them are. Okay, so I guess I didn't bring my, I just have this mask. I have a cloth mask. I think I left it in the house. Again, you're watching the Great Gratu Orlov Show. It's episode 381. Remember to drink Bubble Up, our sponsor, and also, what else? Make sure that you drink Fang breakfast drink. Okay. Let's see. I don't know how much battery I've got, but maybe it'll last for a little bit. I should have charged it more before I left. Okay, I'll take this mask because I like to put it on, and then I'll follow the lead. Usually they don't wear masks in this place either. Well, I'll put it on because I don't look like an asshole. Thank you. these back. I don't carry them around everywhere.
Sure, I've got baskets.
Oh, well, yeah, that's cool. Or just set them back. I should be done here in a second. Man, the $2 bins are great. sir. Thank you, thank you. Y'all have a fantastic weekend. Well, I guess that are quit while I'm at that. You don't have any discounts for teachers, do you? I do. I think so. Always ask. Alrighty. Total today, 112.58. Yep. Yeah, 275. Okay, thank you. Well, we are. How often are the $2 bins restocked?
Well, we restock them all the time.
Yeah, because I noticed a lot of stuff that wasn't here last time.
Yeah, we do them $2 bins pretty frequently.
Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. You have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Joe Biden. I'm going to be in trouble if I stay and answer your questions, you guys. Oh, I do have that stupid cloth mask. It's in my pocket. Just wondering where it was. Well, yeah. Oh, shit. Let me put these comics not in the trunk. Car. And let's go check out this half-price books. I gotta plug this phone in. It's just, luckily the phone stayed alive while I was in there. That shit is done. Yeah, sorry if I went too quickly through the bins. Some of you are probably pissed that I went too quickly through, or I didn't show you everything. Yeah, I probably should have, but you know, the store is just fucking amazing. Everything except for about 4 comics I picked out of the $2 bin, and the others I got half price. Well, one Thor comic I got for $5, and I got some of those comics in the $2 bin were multiple copies. So I since I need to send some AOK packages out, and I need to get, Graphic Man was looking for some Jetsons comics, and I think I just found about 4 of them. So it wasn't that I really spent $112. Some of it was not my money, so I can make that defense with my wife when she sees the fucking bill and comes at me with a fucking axe. Okay, so I've never been to this other half-price books. But I think it's down Main Street here. Wouldn't it be cool if a train went by right now? But sometimes good luck happens on the Garage Tour Live show, but I don't think it's going to happen today. Oh my God, that was just great. You pull $2, even if, and I was putting shit back because it was like not up to my standards in the $2 bin, and it's Golden Age stuff. And if it's Golden Age, yeah, it has a chunk out of the cover, but it's still amazing reading, and it has the cool old ads in it and everything. And what? But I feel weird that I was just turning down. This isn't up to my standards, and it's $2, which is fucking nothing. I just put more than $40 with a gas in my car. Why am I wearing sunglasses, by the way? Yeah, you can. This is how you get out. You have to. You can see it's not a great area. Someone's broken into somebody's storage unit. At least there's a church here to give some kind of holiness to the area. It looks like it's starting to get, well, it's 1 o'clock. The storm wasn't supposed to come till 5. We're an hour and 18 minutes in. Well, at least I gave you some. I've been talking to you guys about Duncanville books forever, and you guys probably think it can't be that great, but I think you saw how great it is. If you want to come to Grotuville, I'll pick you up at the airport. You can stay here at the Gratu Orloff International Building of Trade, and I'll take you to Duncanville Books if you want to make a trip there. But they still don't give me a teacher discount, those fucking bastards. But I always ask every time. I don't know. They're not fucking bastards. Listen to me. They're wonderful people. I mean, they operate that store. That's a sacred store. I mean, that's just, it's just, oh my God, look at this idiot. The carpets. People are retarded. Oh, excuse me, I don't want to use the word. They're mentally handicapped. They're challenged. Okay. Well, let's turn on Main Street. It should be about a 10 or 8 minute drive according to my iPhone. I don't know this area. I've never been down this street. There's no, who knows what wonders we'll find down here. Could be some other cool stuff. Or it could just be carjackings. There's the Duncanville Learning Center. That's probably where that guy who's carrying the carpets needs to go and learn. Gotta learn, motherfucker. Well, yeah, that fucking humor comic I just got, that's a 50s Mad ripoff. I forget what it was called. And it's there's a Masonic Lodge over there. And it was $15 or $14, and it was 50% off. So basically, I bought a 1950s Mad imitation comic for what idiots pay for a brand new DC comic on New Comic Day. I love it when the Crypt Keeper of Castle Hills in San Antonio shows, well, you were buying this, I was buying this, and he shows for the same amount of money that people are buying some new comic. He was picking out during the lockdown. He was getting through the mail EC comics and stuff that I never thought were even affordable for normal mortals. But he's picking up EC horror and stuff for the same price that people are paying for a comic that's 2 months old because it has Miles Morales on it or some shit. All these bootleg Marvel heroes that, it's Iron Man, except now he's an Eskimo teenage girl. So why don't you call it Iron Eskimo Teenage Girl then, instead of Iron Man? Well, it should be on the right side of the street. It's the right side of the street for making love. There's City View Tacos. That's gotta be good. Get out of my way, you cocksucking motherfucker. I'm going to Half Price Books. DQ. That's part of the dummying down of America. It started with Kentucky Fried Chicken when they became KFC. And then Dairy Queen became DQ. Who else does it? There's some other fucking company that does the same shit. I like Dairy Queen. You ever look up the Dairy Queen? There's a really cool Dairy Queen cartoon commercial. I think it played in movie theaters probably in the 50s or 40s. It's a black and white cartoon, and these little kids are asleep at the Dairy Queen. It's like some fairy that comes down from heaven on a moonbeam and wakes them up and takes them to, dairy heaven. And she says, I'm the Dairy Queen, won't you come with me? Oh, it's just so cool and spooky and wonderful. You gotta look up old Dairy Queen commercials and find that. I know it's on YouTube. Yep, car stereo, auto seat covers. You got everything here in Duncanville. This town was named after Duncan Yo-Yos. Duncan Yo-Yos were first invented here. And when Duncan Yo-Yos were first invented, they were made out of uranium. There were uranium mines here in Duncanville, and they used to make yo-yos out of pure uranium. And then they started making them out of plastic later. But there's Bud's Barbershop. Wow, that's like right out of Bayberry and RFD. Look at these charming little houses over here. I'm not even being sarcastic. They're just little 1930s houses, very modest, and people are keeping them up nicely. That's nice to see. That's being kept up nicely. Yeah, I guess it doesn't look that bad. There's an old cowboy taking his trash into the gas station. It doesn't look that bad here in Duncanville. I just know there was a mall. I used to come to back when I briefly thought I would start collecting laser discs, which is insanity because they were so fucking expensive, but there weren't many places that sold laser discs. And so I would, there was a mall here in Duncanville called the Redbird Mall. And that mall was, I don't know, they closed that mall, but it was famous for not being a nice place to go. Like, unsavory people were around it. And there also used to be a Blockbuster Video in the parking lot of that mall, and it had really cool they used to have like cult movies, you know, they would call them cult movies. They'd be the, you know, the monster movies and stuff from or exploitation movies from the 70s. They had a good selection there, so I would drive to this town to rent movies, make bootleg copies of them, and then return them. And that was Duncanville Collectibles. I wonder what that fucking thing is. It's got to be like baseball cards or something. I'll look that up. Okay, I wonder where this place is. It should be coming up. If it isn't, I may have to shut this phone, this episode, I may have to close it down to check the map on the phone, and then start the episode again when I go on the Half Price Books. I don't know, this center over here looks like a place where Half Price Books could very possibly be. I was listening to yesterday's episode I just was listening to it, and Night Tiger's right. My wife doesn't acknowledge it, but I hear it. He says I sound like Ethan Van Sciver when I'm talking, and I think I do, and I don't know what that even means. I don't think I have a real regional Texas accent, although you may disagree. There's a Costco. It's because my growing up, we moved all over the place, so I never, I was in San Antonio for my first 4 years, and then, oh shit, I don't think this is gonna be where it's at. Shit, fuck this. Then we were in Virginia for a year. Then we were back in San Antonio. And, you know, when you live on an army base, you have accents from all over, and it's just like. And then we were in Tacoma, Washington. But you know, mostly I've been in Grotuville most of my life, and I don't think I've ever picked up a real regional accent. But I don't know. Who knows? I think I saw on the map that it was like on the access road of this fucking road up here. But if I don't find it in like I said, I better just fucking J. Elmer Weaver. Yeah, it was. They showed it was on the access road of 67. So I bet it's 67. J. Elmer Weaver. J. Elmer Weaver, if you look him up on Wikipedia, was early sheriff. He had 3 arms. He had a birth defect, and he had 2. He was right-handed, and he had 2 right arms, and so he wore 2 guns on his right side, and he could like draw and pull out 2 guns with both of his right arms, and so that's a fact. It's a fact, Jack. Okay, so it's along here somewhere, although it could be back behind me. But I need to charge the phone anyway, so this is giving me an opportunity to give my phone sustenance, electrical nutrients, so that it can be empowered to film inside the half-price books. Ay, ay, ay. When we get back to the International Building of Trade, I'll open up these comics and we'll probably see horrible things inside of them, which is why they sold them for $2. You know, I went through those Lone Ranger comics really quickly because I'd seen them before, but you probably thought I was nuts, especially if you're a Lone Ranger fan. I'd seen them before, and they never sell them. It's like nobody collects the Lone Ranger. Not many people. I don't know why. Lone Ranger was an amazing, it's part of our culture. He's a wonderful character, but they made damn, I don't want to say it was a shitty movie. They made a real mediocre movie a few years ago with Johnny Depp playing Tonto, and they made the Lone Ranger kind of an idiot, and then of course Tonto was the smart one. But then the last half hour of the movie, the William Tell Overture starts playing. Just watch only the last half hour of that movie, and all of a sudden it's as good as Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm serious. There's a train scene where they're Lone Ranger Tonto are fighting on top of a train, and it's like it brings tears to your eyes. It's so good. If the whole movie had been like that, it would have been amazing. You know, to have the William Tell Overture playing all through the movie. But it was great, and it's such a stirring rendition of the Lone Ranger theme, and it's a mediocre movie that annoying too. And then the last half hour, it's just fucking phenomenal. In fact, it should just be a half-hour feature. Oh shit, it's starting to rain. Tell you what I'll do is I'm going to pull over in the Guitar Center, and then I'm going to do the search, the map search, and see how to get to the half-price books from the Guitar Center. And I'll start a second episode here after I find out how to get there. So I'll be back in just a few minutes. Take care.